Good morning. Welcome, everyone. I don't know if anyone's here yet, but if you are, welcome. Hi. I hope everyone was having a good day. I did take last week off because I was not feeling well, but I am feeling much better this week. So anyway, we're gonna do that. I have some Barbie and the Rocker pages today. I'm not sure yet which ones to do. A couple of them are like double page spreads. I am almost finished with this particular Barbie and the Rockers book. And this is sort of what's left in the pile. So I grabbed what I had and thought, well, I usually do Barbie live for Valentine's Day month. Valentine's Day, sorry. Valentine's. So I thought I would pick something from the Barbie stack. And let's see. And good morning. Lovely to see you, cute cult. Exactly. Born with the mic in her hand, she was, allegedly. So, yeah. And then let's see. Excellent. I'll get the camera to focus. So I was going to kind of pick, and most of these are double page spreads, but not super complicated. Here she is in the studio with two producers. This is a stage scene with the audience. And this is actually the cover page. Here she and the Rockers are arriving on the set for their video with the old dude. And then this is them arriving at a hotel. So I figure I would pick something. I'm kind of thinking this one because, yeah, I don't know. It's got a lot of background now. So decisions. Actually, this one I think would be fun because there is a lot of background, but there are all these people that are blank. I could fill some people in for the crowd, and there are a bunch of faces and some hair. So yeah, let's do that. We'll work on these two. Have the rest of those for some other time. So yeah. Anyway, let me check. Oh, wait. Mint with Card is here. Welcome. And you are a member, so I think I've got it sorted out. So welcome, Mint with Card. Thank you for being a member.
Bring out the olive! Bring out the olive! Bring out the olive!
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
There we go. I got it. It worked. Huzzah. Obviously, I couldn't figure out the green screen with the lovely Gal Gadot, but for the future. And I would like to thank Miss Gadot, she's right here, for so graciously adding her vast array of acting talents to my little clip for you guys. Hello, Brick. Thank you. Yeah, right? Basically, yeah. Yeah, it is kind of like that. It's weird. I've been working on, around the time I finished this book, I should be dropping a history of Barbie and the Rockers, but I'm not going to do the whole oh, they ripped off Jim. I'm going to actually look at the origins of the band in the lore, because there are two different origins how the Rockers form. And one of them is in this coloring book, and one of them is actually in the storybook that didn't drop until 1987. So basically the last year of Barbie and the Rockers, they finally sort of gave her an official canon, which it's just interesting that, as most of you know, a big part of what interests me is the lore of the in-universe lore, as much as behind-the-scenes stuff. So anyway, so yeah, we're gonna. And this one will be fun because there are a lot of faces, and I can, my drawing skills are still, my relearning to draw process is still in progress, so I'll be able to draw some faces in there and some bodies, and we'll see how good it looks. Also, it occurs to me that it's February 1st, so also happy first day of Black History Month. I think this is only a 28-month year. 28 days, yeah. So we only have 28 days this February, but each of them are part of Black History Month. So I definitely recommend finding something good to watch every day just to see what's what. Because there are a lot of great creators out there and a lot that we can still learn. Good morning, Rowdy Riles. Lovely to see you. Thank you for popping in. I enjoy older Brittany. Like, I mean, her career is kind of over. But, she has no interest. When she was, now that she's free, she doesn't have to perform anymore if she doesn't want to. So we love that for her because she obviously was pushed into it. It's really clear to me, Christina actually, it was something she wanted for herself rather than something her parents kind of pushed her into. So I think that's part of why. Yeah, and Britney Spears, like we've only heard her real singing voice a few times. That whole baby voice she does is they made her do that. So that's not actually even Britney's proper singing voice. It's like how do we make this 16-year-old pop star appeal to old people? So whereas Christina was just Christina. She didn't, get extra skimpy outfits until she was of age and it felt organic. Anyway, we can talk about all of it because that's kind of relevant, I guess, to Barbie and the Rockers. It's funny though, because Barbie and the Rockers is not the first time they made Barbie a rock star or a music singing star. Whenever they launched, I believe it was Superstar Barbie in like 1977, 78, where she has like the pink dress and like the big hair. That's when like the 80s Barbie arrived. And the first as far as I can tell, it's the first time they shipped Barbie like in a pink gown. Before that, most of her outfits were like Malibu Barbie is famously in a blue bathing suit. She didn't become pink coated until the late 70s, early 80s. So it's sort of interesting. We think of Barbie as sort of like this bastion of pinkness, but that did not happen until late 70s, early 80s. When pink and blue got extra genderized, I would assume. So yeah, if you look at old Barbies from before Superstar era, there's not a lot of pink there. And there's a lot of gold Barbie. You got Golden Dream, and then there's like, I believe it's called Pretty Changes Barbie that was in gold. And then the perm Barbie with the big curly hair, quick curl or whatever, had like a gold outfit. So it was not really until Superstar Barbie when they made her a superstar that she got a pink dress. So go figure. Which to me again is interesting because we always think of Barbie as being like pink all the time. And that was not necessarily the case. So, anyway, I am going to, not planets obviously because it's Barbie, but it is supposed to be a big theater / concert. So I'm going to start out by putting some lights in the background. We'll start just with yellow. Using like a light lemony yellow, so it's not too dark. I'll focus most of the darkness around the edges. That is what kind of helps give it like a light effect, so that it looks like it's an actual light. I can't tell as much right now, but once I fill in the background, it'll be. This is how you create light effects. It's all about light and darkness. I know, ironic, right? But anyway, how is everyone? Oh, wait. I need to find. There are a couple Barbie and the Rocker cartoon movies that I need to find. I think they're on YouTube. It's just yes, that's exactly what I was just thinking of. Yep. And then they did Barbie and the Sensation. Well, it was said that it could explain why Barbie and her friends were suddenly dressed in poodle skirts. And Alex is a member. Alex, I mean, the members have access to this because I already dropped it as, for them to watch.
Bring out the olive! Bring out the olive! Bring out the olive!
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
Anyway, welcome, Alex. Thank you for being a member. I don't think Andrew has seen that yet, so when Andrew gets here later, even though he's not a member, I'll have to make up a reason to play that for him. Yeah, there's a special where they go into space, and it's part of how they rebranded her, because they did Barbie and the Sensations, in which I bought from Retro Reprint, which is where I got my digital copy of this, because I have like 4 copies of this coloring book, because like one of them is missing a bunch of pages, one of them is completely colored in. So when I was trying to originally get this so I could scan and clean it up, I ended up buying like 4 to get a complete set. And then I found Retro Reprints right after that, and they had the whole thing cleaned up, ready to go for like $4. It was like $3 or $4 maybe. So I was like, that's so much easier. I can just print it. Whenever possible, I will do that because time is money, especially when you're doing stuff on YouTube for, I mean, I'm monetized now, so there is, and I have membership, so there is a little money in it, but it's, like they don't pay you a lot when people watch your videos. Unless, if I make clickbait, that would be different. If you ever see me doing a "you won't believe the shocking secret" sort of video, then you'll know I sold out. And in this economy, I recommend anyone who wants to sell out and who can do it. Like, we live in capitalism. As long as you're not hurting anyone, go for it. Get your bag. Because the only way out is to survive. So, anyway, I'm going to do some other lights in here. All right, so we've got pink, we've got yellow, we've got blue. So let's do a few more over here. Sort of like concert lights. It's really the impression I'm trying to give. Whether it's successful or not, we don't know. We won't know until the end. But, that's the joy. And there are times I will spend hours filming a color and chill video and not until the end have any faith that it's actually going to come together. And so, my super old circle tool, I've had this like 20 years now. And before I had this, I thought, I can't, because I'm terrible with a protractor. And then my artist friend was like, you just need one of these. So we went to like the art supply store and I got this. And I got one with a bunch of squares in it. So it saved my life. Because for whatever reason, protractors and me just don't get along. I accidentally stabbed my teacher in 5th grade with my protractor. She was trying to show me how to use it. And it went right through her finger. Anyway. Yeah, right. Like, that's the way to do it. Do a separate one. Like, I don't know. I know that there are ways I could, like, market my videos and do my thumbnails that would, like, sort of make them blow up without going full clickbait, but I don't know. Like, I like the way I do my channel. Yeah, yeah, it's really, and the fashion packs now are really cheaply made. Like, I've picked up a few because every so often I'll buy sort of a big lot of on eBay of like dolls because I am working. You know, the Gal Gadot thing is, you know, to have a fun thing for members, but it's also me trying to figure out, you know, like not really stop motion, but stop motion for a project that I'm working on that requires a lot of dolls. So I will go and buy them, and sometimes they come naked, so I'll go and buy. Yeah, and they're just Mattel just doesn't really make fashion packs like they used to, and a lot of the clothing that they do sell as fashion packs is just really cheap. Like I know times are hard and the economy is hard, but you know, like a solid fashion pack they could sell for like $9 rather than, you know, like $25 for the doll with the hair and all the accessories, you know, like the cardboard and everything. They also come in these little like plastic pouches now, which technically are reusable, but it doesn't seem as environmentally friendly as a blister card. So I don't know. Overall, like whoever is running things at Mattel, you know, that make those decisions, because you know it's not the designers who are like, let's do this as cheaply as we can. They've really cheaped out in ways, and it's funny because when I post, I don't post a lot of I don't cross post everything on TikTok, but often when I will post any Barbie content, and all of the pages I do are from the 70s and 80s, people always will comment, "Oh my God, remember when Barbie actually got good fashion, like real clothes?" And like it's really like I feel like Mattel has, whoever makes those decisions has missed the point. The whole reason originally you didn't make money on the Barbie doll, you made the money, you sold the doll and then you sold the you know, like, and then somehow they turned into Malibu Stacy, where it's like it's just the same doll with a new hat. Like, you know, like it used to be like there were 2 new Barbies a year, you know, and of course some friends, and then all the fashions. And like the fashions were good and like they made sense. And now they're not. And I quite like a lot of the Barbie and the Rocker fashions. I don't actually own any of the Barbie and the Rocker dolls. That I will correct at some point. It's just finding them in good condition. They're spendy, which is, you know, like, I am not opposed to sort of budgeting and saving up. It's just I'm budgeting and saving up for a few things right now, and to complete my vintage strawberry shortcake collection and my vintage glamour gals and my vintage Shira stuff. So like those are, you know, sort of big things for me. Barbie, as a kid, I was never as impressed with Barbie. I've come to appreciate her lately, you know, as I've grown up. But as a kid, I just wasn't. Also, my mom was really Barbie. Like, she had all the original Barbies as a kid, and like, it was kind of like Barbie was a mom thing for me. And all of my friends who collected Barbie were kind of. I'm trying to think of the right word. I think I'll go with boring. They were kind of boring. And they're still boring now. Like, they're all, you know, the 3 people I knew as a kid who collected Barbie who are all still alive. And it's like, one of them is a Disney adult now. So her whole life is going onto Facebook and complaining about, you know, things boomer, well, we're not, we're Gen X, but there are a lot of Gen Xers as we age who are leaning into boomer town, but complaining about like boomer things. Why is everybody so rude? I'm trying to buy groceries. And they're so rude to me. It's like, because you're probably rude to them. But other than that, it's like, can't, you know, like 177 more days till Disney. And then when they get back from Disney every year, the countdown starts again. It's just very, and I guess it, you know, like shouldn't be begrudge her because it's like a thing that brings her joy. But, you know, and I really shouldn't because my entire personality at times is these old toys. But I don't know, it just seems really, you know, like if I didn't collect these old toys, I still have a lot of shit in my life that brings me a lot of joy, and it doesn't feel like she has that. You know, like if I stop collecting toys tomorrow, I still have other interests and other things I do. So I don't know. I worry about boring people. Like, so rude. That sounds so rude, but I worry about simple people. There we go. We'll go with simple. They have simple interests. But, you know, I'm also never the person who, you know, like, when the guidance counselor was like, one day, like, you'll find the perfect job, and you'll get married and have babies. And one day, you know, like, you'll have a job, and then you'll quit your job to raise babies. You know, and then you'll grow old watching your kids grow old, and it'll be great. And I was just like, that sounds so terrible. Like, and I have so many people in my life where that, you know, like friends who like that is their life and they love it, but it just, I don't know. It just seems really boring, and I like hate to say it that way. I hope I don't offend anyone. If you're somebody like that watching this, I apologize. I don't, it doesn't work for me, so I'm sure my boring childless life is boring to you and scary to you, so we're even. But I mean, I've got 7 cats, so it's not the same as having children, but it's not quite childless. Oh, hello, Cassie Computer. I do have another page that I will be doing at some point. It's in the stack, and it's just getting to it. And bye. And I saw Bud. Hi, Bud. Lovely to see you. Welcome. Glad you are here. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that was a long tangent from Barbie and the Rockers, but you know. And there's not a guest here to help me focus. It does tend to be a little bit more unhinged. And this is Black Grape. I've been, for whatever reason, for the crowd scenes for Barbie in the backgrounds, I had liked using it because it's just a really nice dark purple. Oh. So as you can see, the sun has hit just the right spot. So I will need to get shades for that window. Ooh. Okay, so Club. Here's a question about, because I have the Grace. I'm Club Grayskull. So, well, do I need to join Club 59 to buy those, or can anybody buy them? And do you recommend, or is it something where they will sell out? Like, I'm here for it because I'm willing, because based on the aftermarket prices on vintage ones, which is going to be way more than $60. And I am going to want to take them out of the package and display them. You know, and even nice ones that have, you know, just that are complete. go for a lot of money. So I, $60 for a brand new repo, is 100% something I would, I'm not a snob that way about collect. I just like having the item. I don't care about, like, this is a reproduction. And it's like, do I need to go buy the original now? No, thanks. I just want a nice, the item in nice condition to display and to look at and enjoy. And sometimes take down, play with. It's weird, as an adult, you play with toys differently than as a kid. So yeah, I definitely need to find out about that though, because I mean, even if they end up not doing Diva and Derek don't go for as much on the aftermarket, unless you're trying to get like mint, a really nice minty fresh box. So it's like what, $10 a year for? It's $10 for Club Grayskull. So I bet it's, yeah. So I would join. I would spend $10 to join the Barbie Club for a year to get the rockers. And Dee Dee is of the rockers. Dee Dee is my favorite one. So okay, it's honestly, it seems like they would, especially with, I mean, like Mattel is, got to be paying attention to what's happening with the loyal subjects in Jen. Like, it would be completely ironically, hilariously trolly of them to re-release Barbie and the Rockers, sort of, and go big. At the same time, Gem is having this resurgence. I mean, the difference is, since it's mostly an adult collector's market, it's not going to be the same situation where it's like people are choosing between either or, because your mom is like, oh, you've already got Barbie, you don't need Gem. And, pricing. We have adult collector for now. In this economy, who knows? But yeah, it just seems like it would be a good time. Well, technically, it's also this year. This year is technically the 40th anniversary of Barbie and the Rockers. I know they did Gem last year in '85 because that's when the cartoon hit, but the Gem dolls didn't actually start arriving until '86. So, and I don't really remember Barbie and the Rockers. Like this coloring book has copyright '86 in it. So if Barbie and the Rockers did hit in '85, it was very, very late in the year. And so, 40th anniversary of Barbie and the Rockers. All right. Got our first layer of background. No, not that. I should have organized these better, but oh well, here we are. Brown. There we go, black cherry. Yeah, they kind of did. Yeah, the gem proportions were, well, the gem, I didn't hate them as a kid because they used the same body as Kenner's Darcy used. So I still have like some Darcy stuff. So And I liked sort of the bigger. That was one of the things as a kid I always sort of disliked about Barbie was the hands were weird. I thought anyway. Like she couldn't really grip anything. Um, so you could buy all this stuff for her, but unless they put that little sort of the little hand, they would put like a little sort of grippy thing on, like the mirrors and the combs and stuff, so she could actually hold them. And the boobs and the waist and the hips, like it was all very weirdly proportioned. So I always kind of thought that was weird. So I preferred, Darcy from Kenner because she had sort of more real. She was a lot more poseable than Barbie was at the time as well. And she was disco. So I was okay with the different proportions because, like, I was able to reuse a little bit of my Darcy stuff, and I didn't have any Barbie stuff. I don't think. I think I had like one Barbie coloring book as a kid. The only Barbie I actually really, really, really remembered wanting as a kid was Golden Dream Barbie. For the rockers, I wanted Dee Dee more than I wanted Barbie. Like I thought Dee Dee was cool. So, but yeah, it wasn't until, again, a couple of years ago that I started really, right, it was about a year before the Barbie movie hit that I but also Barbie has changed a lot. Like when I was a kid, like I said, like she had a really specific body type. And before sort of the 80s, like she would have these careers, but it was always like stewardess or, sort of nurse. And then in the 80s, suddenly she's an astronaut. She's a doctor. She's also fashion, but at the same time, like they started really opening it up. But the body was the same. And then around the time they made like the curvy body and stuff, I started noticing that. And then I was like, okay, like Barbie is kind of cool now. Like I was on the toy aisle one day and it was like, oh, the fashionistas basically, which are like 10 to 12 bucks depending on the store. But literally, no matter who you are, you can usually, now, like with the Barbie selection, you can find a doll that, like, there's a Barbie for you, which wasn't the case. If you watch that excellent Black Barbie documentary on Netflix, like Black Barbie was a big deal whenever they first made her. But even that took a few years. So, but yeah, I want them all now. I want them all. But also with like Gem, I was thinking about buying vintage, but those are also expensive. And then the Loyal Subjects just sort of like took care of that for me. So yeah. I'm gonna have to get a shade over that window over there. I thought the curtains would be enough, but they're not. And now that we're out of the rainy season where I am, we're gonna start having sunny days. The windows right there have, once I finish setting up that side of the room, I've got decals for the window that will filter the light. But I wasn't going to do anything with these over here that are giving me light right here yet. But I'll just get some shades. Other than these live streams, I don't actually ever, I'm never filming this early in the day. I'm either at my day job or editing at this time of day. We're out and about running errands, so. All right. I think we are almost done with the background. Yeah, and my little pink and blue and my yellow now look like lights. I am going to add a little bit of white paint, so not a lot, just a little bit to sort of help. Sort of make it pop just a little bit more. And then a little bit of white, just to sort of blend out the area around the lights, which again sort of helps with the effect. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing. Like, my friends on the playground did not have a ton of options when we were kids, which is probably another reason because like I would play with them, and they didn't actually have many Barbies. A lot of them had sort of the other companies that were doing like black fashion dolls. So. And Strawberry Shortcake had Orange Blossom, so when we were younger, we mainly played Strawberry Shortcake. But she was also sort of geared more toward younger kids than Barbie was. And what actually killed Strawberry Shortcake was in '85 when they tried to age her up a little bit by giving her long hair and bows, and it's like part of the charm was that and like originally Strawberry Shortcake, they weren't little kids, they were like the strawberry people, so they were like little people, like the littles. And so I don't know, very odd overall. All right, okay, so our lights look good and our background is there. So now we've got a bunch of we got the crowd in the background, and for that I am just going to start out with a dark brown. So we got a couple arms. We have to kind of figure out where things go and what people look like, where we want some faces, shoulders. and kind of complete the stage since they did not. All right, got some shapes over here, some faces, some arms. And quickly do the same over here. All right, that should do it. Got some outlines for people in the crowd. Oh, nice. Yeah, I have not picked her up yet. I really want to. But part of it is I don't have any of the other Silverhawks in that scale yet. I need to get Steelheart. But otherwise, like, I'm just gonna like sort of, keep my collection to the ladies of the line. I already accidentally have gone in on too many other, like I'm collecting sectars now from the cell and the Loyal Subjects Gem and the Loyal Subjects Mask, which I still haven't opened any of that stuff. But I'm not to the shelf yet where it goes. I'm getting there though. I should probably this week start setting up a bunch of the Star Wars shelves. And once that's up, that and Mode 2 are sort of the two big ones. And so those are set up. And yeah, it's Star Wars once that's set up, and then after that will be Strawberry Shortcake and Glamour Gals. And then I'll do Mode 2, and then all the superhero stuff. I'm going to end up having to buy more shelves at some point in the next few months. Because the one set of shelves I have for a bunch of stuff is just not going to be enough for all of that stuff. And so right. Give this guy a mohawk. So sort of the fun part of these old coloring books is when the artist sort of like chances out on one of these pages art-wise and sort of going in and trying to fill it out so that it's cool, I guess. I don't know. All right, let's see. All right. So they are in the background, so they're not going to need to be super. I'm just going to go in, because most of it's going to end up being brown anyway, but we just want some splashes of color in there so that it looks like actual clothes. And then trying to keep to like a palette that would make sense for the time frame. Just lots of pinks and aquas. Spring green. There's a little neon orange in here. To aquamarine into there. A little bit of yellow. Some spring green. All right, we are. I definitely would buy that, and I prefer the yellow. I like the yellow and the orange. And that is one of the few. Definitely not 2026. Probably not 2027, but 2028. I expect to budget for one of the Barbie A-frame. Because I do remember my friend Jennifer had one of those when we were kids. And it was one of the few times like she got something that I really felt envious, even though I didn't care for Barbie. It would have been great for my Darcy doll and my large size Leia. But it was one of the few times I felt super jealous about something she got that I did not, because it's just such an amazing toy. So, but yeah, I would definitely, the A-frame is one of the ones that eventually, and I keep an eye on the Facebook marketplace in my area, because that's something that every so often will show up really like, $50, come and get this. So, I always sort of keep an eye out for it. I have a friend who got one of the pink ones on Facebook Marketplace for like next to nothing. And it was literally just like, we're moving, we don't have time, come and get this out of the house. And so at some point, or if they did a reproduction, I would probably, you know, the price of that would be, I would expect, you know, like several $100. I mean, it was, if I remember correctly, it was like $100 and like $20 for the, you know, with furniture, with everything in it back in the day. So it would be pretty significant price wise today. Just for inflation, not even considering, you know, beyond just the inflation of the dollar, that sort of plastic and tariffs and all of that is in a much different place than it was in the 70s and 80s. All right, there we go. It's coming along. I had to step back and take a look to make sure it looked okay. Well, hello, Stu. Welcome. Lovely to see you today. How are you? And I will be on the Universal Toy Collectors channel very soon. I don't have my calendar in front of me, but I'm going to be taking part in his charity fundraiser Quizathon. Once I will check the date and I will drop that in the my community tab, so you can all come watch that. Because it's a great cause and it's a lot of fun. So I need to get on. That'll be this. I've got so much to do this week. It's like sort of administrative work for the channel, which is cementing live streams and getting dates out. So it's also the first of the month. That's usually when I do the bulk of the admin stuff. So it just feels like I'm behind for some reason, but I'm really not. I'm just on time. It's just being sick last weekend and actually making the decision to not stream has sort of left me feeling not panicked, but just like I'm forgetting something. It feels off. And so, but I need to get used to that. I'm not gonna I think one of the resolutions I made for 2026 is I'm not going to work anymore, any job, YouTube, day job, or whatever. If I'm just feeling that under the weather, I'm just going to take a sick day and rest. So we're doing self-care in 2026, but not the selfish kind of self-care. Yes, there we are. That's it. There are the dates. I will be in there at some point. But yeah, mark your calendars, guys, and please show up. It's for a good cause. And hello, Heligeek. Oh, good. I'm sure I will hear about that on some stream at some point today. All right, let's see. Where are we with the crowd? Here we are. I am now remembering why this one was in the stack of pages I haven't done yet, because I was like, that crowd is going to be a lot. But once the crowd is done, the rest of it is pretty quick. And so. A little bit more to bring the awkward down a little bit more in here. Oh, you were late, and you know what? You were technically, even though you're not a member, I do want to share something with you, Andrew.
Bring out the olive! Bring out the olive! Bring out the olive!
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
Good morning, Andrew. Well, good afternoon. Napping would indicate that you got up and then went and took a nap. So. I couldn't figure out the green screen, so at some point there will be a different version of that. But for now, for now. All right, let's see. Well, you know. All right, let's see. Okay. Ah, that's no good. Makes me afraid for mine. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, I bet he did break into two pieces. Sorry, I was being very literal brained right there, Alex. Did he split in two? Right down the middle? Oh my gosh. Okay, good, Alex. I was concerned about quality control for a moment there. But luckily, I caught on. Yeah, he is. Blast Attack is one of the few figures that sort of have to have the action feature, like Cyclone. Um, was like Mosquito, for instance, I feel like is one that had to have the action feature. You know, Rio Blast. I remember people were mad that Cobra Khan didn't have his action feature, but I always felt like, yeah, and you know, they got a lot of reuse out of him because he didn't have that action feature. But I don't think all of, you know, like Mechanic not having the action feature to me didn't bother me because they gave you the pieces to do it. And it's like there's not really a way to make him, you know, like to make Mechanic posable and articulated without, if you do that original action feature. Like, is actually one of the things I as a kid hated about Mechanic was like you had to twist him to get him for the action feature. So if you wanted to use him while you were playing, like he had to be in that weird twisty thing to actually work with the action feature. So I never, he ended up not being a character I played with a lot as a kid for that reason, even though I thought he was really cool. And so I get why people were unhappy with it, but for me, the posability in that case was more important than replicating the action feature. But for Blast Attack, you have to do the action feature. Like, there's sort of no way around that one, in my humble opinion. Yeah, Well, the Origins mechanic only came with the Road Ripper. I want a second one. I keep waiting for the price to come down because I want to spray paint the Road Ripper dark blue, because there was originally a version of it that was dark blue for, like, I guess the Evil Warriors. So I would like to do that and then have the extra mechanic for parts. Alright, let's see. This is sort of the tedious part of it. But it's also kind of fun to... It's tedious but fun to sort of go in and have to create all these faces. And, you know, also try to make it more than sort of these very Valley-esque kids over here. Try to give some punk and some different looks over here. Hello, Nolan. Welcome. Lovely to see you. Oh, yeah, definitely. The Hart family stuff is super interesting, too. Like, another, like, you know, we can't have Barbie get married and have babies. Let's create the Hart family. All right, let me see. Looking at my crowd. Okay, yep. Up here. I'm gonna finish these people off. All right, we finished that side of the crowd. I'm going to do one of the people that are pre-drawn for us. So, just because creating all those faces, it's like, okay, I'm good for a moment or two. So I think I'm going to do this person in the back. So we're going to go with a base coat of yellow. I'm going to try to give her some, like a sort of punk look. Or not punk, but like a new wave. That Cyndi Lauper and A Change of Heart video. It was like orange and sort of yellow. A little bit of deep, deep red. There we are. All right. for skin, I'm going to start with eggshell. And there's some hot pink eyeshadow. A little bit of mulberry underneath. Do the mulberry for her lipstick. And then hot pink again for her blush. I'm going to give her brown eyes. All right, and there she is. All right, very good. Go to the floor now. And for that, I'm going to use a marker. Let's see if I can find the right color. A little too red. Let's see, that one is. It's pretty brown. All right, there we go. Oh wow, it's already an hour and 40 minutes in. All right. There we go. Floor is done. All right, floor is done. Go in and do these lights. All right, let's see. Okay, I think I'll just get started on this middle column of people. About 14 minutes left. I obviously will not finish these pages today, but I can get a little further along. I recently picked up the from the 90s, a bunch of McDonald's Barbie figures, ironically. And the yellow and the pink Power Ranger action figures that they did that came with the little vehicles. So I have been, and there are a couple of the original McDonald's changeables that I want to pick up at some point, and just haven't yet. And there was a Snow White figure line that McDonald's did, and a Batman in the Animated Series figure line that they did. So I want to pick those up at some point, as well as more of the little Barbie minifigures, because they are frankly quite well done. Um, I was sort of looking at the Power Rangers stuff will be in the everything I open in January video that drops next weekend, and I really like. I have a couple Lightning collection figures that I picked up that I finally opened. And I have to kind of say the McDonald's figures, like, I appreciated them more than I did the Hasbro Lightning collection stuff. I'm not one of the, people who hates Hasbro. I'm not sort of one of the people who think that Hasbro can do no wrong. But I was really just, this vintage McDonald toy Power Rangers, for whatever reason, hit so much harder than the newer stuff did. Like, they just felt more action figure like to me than, like, it's sort of everything I liked about action figures back in the day. Like, there aren't 30 different hands and head swaps and lots of, there are no weapons with them. But I don't know, they hit harder for me. And that was kind of what helped me sort of remember that I wanted to pick up a bunch of the vintage premium stuff from McDonald's. And I am kind of, I'm interested in the newer stuff. It's just, a lot of that I've noticed is really hard to find because so many people are looking for it. You don't want to pay aftermarket prices on the fast food premium toy. And I also don't have time to sort of run to all of the McDonald's in this area to try to find them. So, but with any luck, a couple of them will come my way. It's not anything I feel like I want all of. So I don't need to be all in, but it would be fun to have a couple of them. Especially once I pick up a couple of the vintage items. So that, here's a nice little display of them on the shelf. I quite like, though, that they're bringing back the premium toys. I feel like it's one of the things that, sort of went away, that it never made sense that it went away to me. Just fun little, they're not highly articulated or anything like that. Sort of basic little inexpensive toys that are also really cool. I remember when I would babysit, I would take the kids to McDonald's or stop at McDonald's on the way over and pick up Happy Meals with toys. And I just remember the toys were good enough at the time that the kids were occupied for the entire night. To put a video on and just let them go. They're not too much babysitting. Sit there and read my book. Or work on my college homework, whatever that particular night was. So, yeah, it's cool to see that they're bringing those back. Hopefully it doesn't go. I know the little Wendy, are they the Boo Buckets through Wednesday, or are they something else? But I do know that there were some people were having a hard time tracking those down. So I hope if McDonald's goes all in and makes sure they have enough stock, because I feel like a lot of people want them and are going to be looking for them. I don't feel like in this day and age, scarcity is a thing that helps a brand. Like I know, like for instance, the Labubus, there was this whole thing where like nobody could find them, everybody wanted them. But now, months later, now that the demand is finally catching up, nobody cares, and I feel like a big part of that is it was like a false sense of like the FOMO on those was bigger than the actual desire for the product. Whereas if you look back in the 80s with the Cabbage Patch Kids, you know, the Cabbage Patch riots of 1983, if you will, Cabbage Patch Kids are still around a long time. People, you know, like you can still buy Cabbage Patch stuff. Still, I think Mattel still makes Cabbage Patch Kid toys. Somebody does, you know, not as many. It's not as big as it used to be, obviously, but I'm not sure why I put Sinead O'Connor in the crowd here, but there she is. Sinead O'Connor checking it out. The McNugget Buddies were the best, and I do want a couple of those probably. And it's going to depend on how deep it goes once I pick up a few. Those are really good. I want the. Do you mean the stuffed ones? Because I definitely want one of those Christmas Miss Piggies for the shelf. I go to McDonald's every time they bring the McRib back. I know people make fun of the McRib, but I have a considerable amount of nostalgia and affection for the McRib. Oh wow, it's 3 minutes till. Sinead O'Connor, you took up all the time. Alright, I'm just going to fill in the space around Sinead and then we will wrap it up. And obviously I will work on this more on another stream. That's quite a bit done. Like I got almost over half of the crowd that has to be created. So yeah, like I'll be able to finish this in another stream, I think. Yes. I remember those. Yeah, those were cool. One of the only times I went to Arby's by choice. I used to go to Arby's a lot, and it would always turn into I would have a limited lunch break when I worked at Blockbuster, and it's like the girl I worked with every day, and I would she'd be like, "Here's $5," and it would be the list. Like, if you can get to Taco Bell, here's what I want: McDonald's, here, Burger King, if nowhere else, Arby's. And on every day, if it was too late, like the other 3 places always had the longest. There was never a line at Arby's. I could always get in and out. So we ate more Arby's than we might normally. So, because as they said on The Simpsons, I'm so hungry I could eat at Arby's. Oh my God, she's really hungry. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. But next week, on Sunday, I will be here by myself, and we're gonna do whips so that I can finish some of these. Got all these half-finished pages from previous streams. And I might do this one because this one, I'll probably start actually with this one. Because this is Catherine O'Hara, the cartoon version of Catherine O'Hara from Beetlejuice. And since she passed this last week, it would be fun to finish this one. So I think we'll start with this one. And we'll do like Merman. And then this Catra. So yeah, next week I will work on this one. And it shouldn't take too long because it's the cartoon Beetlejuice. So we'll do some whips. So that will be next Sunday. And the Sunday after, Chris Plastic from Shiny Plastic People will be here with me. I'm not sure yet what we're going to color. I need to check with him and see what he wants. And then the Sunday after that, on the 22nd, it will be Dad at Arms. And he is like the news reporter for He-Man.org. So with all of the Motu news dropping, I'm sure he and I will have a lot of Motu stuff to talk about. Also, this Friday night, there is a special Allison Troy After Dark on Friday night where Cobweb Collector and I will be coloring some Motu. So definitely check all of that out. And then I've obviously got long form stuff. All the videos all the time. So tomorrow there is a Princess of Power 1985 coloring book video that's dropping. So I flip through an old book, I color a page. Next Friday is the vintage color and chill is vintage Manny Faces card back, and then Saturday will be everything I opened in January. And there are shorts this week, so definitely check those out. And if you haven't watched it yet, I dropped a strawberry shortcake video last week that you should check out. So, on that note, excellent. Very nice. I don't think mine will be here until Monday because mine comes through FedEx. So, and they don't deliver in my neck of the woods. But probably tomorrow because it was shipping, I think, yesterday. So, with that said, I appreciate you all for joining me today and listening to me ramble. And I will see you next time. And as always, I'm going to leave you with this pressing question that we still don't quite know the answer to.
I haven't made up my mind yet. Incidentally, which one of you bitches is my mother?